Oh boy, here we go. Fallout 76, the game that aimed high, but ended up at the bottom. I mean, where should I start when talking about this game? I was really hyped for this game, and it seemed that this game was going to be amazing if you looked at what was shown at E3 of this year, 2018. And I do have to say that there are moments in the game where I, really enjoy playing it. But there are also moments where I feel completely lost and don't know what to do next. So let's say, I'm not motivated to go somewhere else because everybody will be already dead upon your arrival. So, what's the point in being disappointed once more? But before we get into destroying the game, pretty much, I first wanted to say that, don't see this as being a review. It is more of my impressions of the game, as I've played about 30 hours right now, and I think that should give me a decent view of the game and what it has to offer. Also, I wanted to make this video last week, but I didn't because I saw they were making some patches. So I was waiting to see what they would patch and see what the game does afterwards. Now that I've seen that, I could also take that into this opinion video as well. But before we continue with all that, I first wanted to say that I have become a father 3 weeks ago. My girlfriend gave birth to a little baby boy. And the labor was actually it went quite smooth, to be honest. It started at 3 a.m. in the morning, of course, because why do you want to sleep, more or less? And that continued until like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and then from what it was looking like, it was going to be another 2 hours and then the baby would be there, except there were some unforeseen complications, which made us have to go to the hospital. But upon arriving at the hospital and doing some extra checks, everything worked out to be okay again. Everything seemed to be fine, and then pretty much 90 minutes later, my son was born, and I was at 16:30. So all in all, the entire labor process was like 13 hours in a row. So I was completely exhausted. And now, pretty much 3 weeks later, I'm still not back to my old regular self. But I do have to say that if you get a son, it does change your world, and it gives you a different view of it, And because you get somebody new in your family, and you want to take care of him, you want to love him, you want to make sure that he's the best that he can ever be, right? Even though he's a little baby right now, so there's nothing he can become right now. But, and I might be saying, Snyder, why are you saying this? What does this have to do with the game? Well, to be honest, I think that you have to see this, that you can reflect this to the game as well. I mean, the developers of this game, they pretty much had a baby, which they called Fallout 76. The question then becomes, is this a healthy baby, or should it not exist? So ultimately, the question is this game really that bad? And should you not play it, or buy it, or anything like that? To be honest, let's go back to what I said earlier, that I feel completely lost. It puts the game in a weird position. It's like, on the one hand, I really like the exploration, finding things, killing enemies, leveling up, seeing how strong you can become. But on the other hand, I don't like how empty it feels, and how rare it is to encounter a real player. Unless you teleport to them, of course, which is just possible. And also how the game gets your hopes up about trying to save people even though they are already dead. And then, of course, all the performance problems are both on console and PC. Let's get that out of the way first. I mean, the engine that they are using for this game is actually not that bad. Because the engine, which they call Creation Engine, actually comes from a different engine. I think it's called Gamebryo or something like that. The engine itself, a lot of other developers also have used to make different games that don't have all these problems that are in Fallout 4 and 76. So that is very interesting, which means that Bethesda is doing something to this engine to, I guess, create the atmosphere that Fallout needs for its games. I guess that's the only reason I can come up with. Well, I think that's why the game is running so badly. Is because like they can't code to save their lives, really. I mean, if you look at some things in the Fallout 76, I'll give you one example of this. When I tried to build my camp site in Fallout 76, normally what I would think is if I activate camp, I would place down the device that can do so, of course, like the main camp device. If once you've placed that down, you would have to come into a menu. What I would think is that they would make something like The Sims, where you get like an isometric perspective. You can use the mouse to click different items that you can place down. You can have a free camera to roam around the area to see what looks good, to make your own little happy house, right? Just like The Sims does. Except this game doesn't do that at all. This game just gives you a menu that needs to be controlled by Z and C, and then you have to, that's how you go through tabs, and then you have to select them, and then you can only use your arrow keys to move around. You can use your mouse if you want to turn around the object, which is just horrible. But anyway, this is just one of these problems that the game has, and of course, I mean the menu navigation. That's horrible. It's horrible. But then again, they could fix that. So I won't go too deeply into that. I mean, they could fix it. They probably won't, but yeah, they could fix it. Other than that, of course, they released a patch to address some issues that people were having with. In regards to performance, also not having an FOV slider, and not having push to talk on the computer. Now, those things have been fixed, so I think the frame rate is a little bit better than from what I've seen. It still stutters from time to time, and I'll probably have to come back to that once they finalized this version of the game, because I don't know whether this is like the best version the game has, or that it still can get better. So I won't judge that too much. What I do like is that they added an FOV slider into it. Because I know you can do that. You could have done that in an INI file before they added it into it. Except that was very inconsistent. Sometimes it would just jump back to the original FOV. But now you can actually change it in-game, and it will actually hold that FOV that you set, which is very good. So, very good on that one. They've also added push to talk into the game. And now there is a problem where you can encounter players, but they won't talk to you. So I think that's the reason why they didn't put push to talk in there in the first place, because they already saw that. But because of popular demand, they did. Also, the question is, like, why do you want to talk to people around you? There is no reason to talk, because you can play this game single-handedly, just fine, so you don't really need anybody else to help you out. It's just a weird thing. It's a weird thing. It puts the entire multiplayer aspect of the game in question very much. Do you need other players in the game? And I would say you don't, because you can easily do it all by yourself. But it's a multiplayer game, so we just have to go with it, I guess, go with the flow, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, there are some obvious issues here in regards to the menu navigation and also performance problems. And then, of course, these problems in game itself. But then again, if Bethesda give the game enough support, these things can be fixed. I don't think they will, because if you look at how much the price is dropping like a month after it's been released, they might as well make it free to play, to be honest. I mean, if they drop the price so much, you might as well let people go in for free and then give me something very good, of course, because I paid the money for it. They can give me something very good, so I can own everybody, of course. But anyway, when you look through all these bugs, problems, and stuff like that, I think the core concept of this game is actually not that bad. I mean, you got a massive landscape to explore, and there could be something good around every corner, and that's the only thing that keeps me going. Like, always hungry for more and then better loot. And then that reminds me a lot of Borderlands, on a different scale, of course. I love Borderlands, the atmosphere, story, guns, everything. I mean, I could boot it up right now and do a let's play of that, you know. This game, however, does not get that same treatment. The guns in Fallout 76 are, from what I've seen thus far, not that inspiring, even though I've probably not seen all of them. And of course, I mean, this game doesn't look like Borderlands at all whatsoever. I mean, Borderlands is just a superior game. I can just, you can't compare these two with each other. But it does give me a little bit of this Borderlands feeling. Even though Borderlands has this like clear directive, exactly what you need to do at all times. This game doesn't let you know what you need to do. And the guns aren't nearly as epic as in Borderlands, of course. With that said, of course, I do like the leveling up in Fallout 76. Getting to choose perk cards that can be swapped at any time, so you can go from one build to the other with a few clicks. I also do like that if you encounter somebody else, you can like seamlessly play together. You can easily team up, finish quests together instead of alone. So that's very good. There's also no text chat, which is kind of strange because every PC game that I know of has that has a multiplayer aspect has a text chat somewhere hidden away. Even Call of Duty games have it. So I don't know why they didn't go with the text chat. I mean, of course, they have now pushed the talk, so that's good. So you could at least communicate to people whenever you want. Nobody's doing it. I've never heard somebody in a game talking to me. So that's fantastic, of course. I do have to say that I do like crafting in this game. So you can make the weapon or armor you have a little bit better without being forced to find a better variant of that gun that has all the attachments that you would like. I do like the feeling that there is no rush. I mean, you can explore everything at your own leisure and don't have to do whatever the game tells you to do. Even though sometimes when you enter into an area, the game just gives you an objective and you just have to do it. The game doesn't even ask you to. It's like, here, do it. Do it. Even though you don't really care. Of course, I mean, no sense of direction can give you a feeling that you don't know where to go. You don't know where you need to be, what you need to do. And that's also something I already pointed out at the start. You feel lost all the time. You also don't know how to level up, where to get the best gear, all kinds of stuff like that. You have no idea what to do. I do like the fact that you can stash things, and that you have a power armor, of course, and you can use it. Building your own camp, great idea. The world is very varied and diverse. Also, the world events that are taking place are also a good idea. I mean, everybody can jump in, help out, get some sweet loot as well, so that's a good thing. The core concept of this game is not that bad. It's just the execution that Bethesda has put into this. Just abysmal, you know? Because like all the bugs, performance problems, missing features and stuff like that, they are overshadowing everything that's good about this game. So ultimately, have they created a healthy baby here? And I don't think they have. I do think this game is yeah, I hate to say it, but it is quite bad, actually. I mean, the engine is pretty good, except what Bethesda has done to it just makes it abysmal, and makes the graphics lag behind the competition for like 5 years or something. Even though the graphics that they put into the game probably gives this Fallout a Fallout feeling. But then, yeah, I mean, if you have all these bugs that are in Fallout 4, and you just simply refuse to fix them, even though the community has fixed them years ago, yeah, that's one of those points that you can't forgive, you know? Like, you should look at the community, what the community has done, take those fixes in, and just apply them to your new game. That's what I think, at least. There's probably a reason why they didn't, but we never know, right? But anyway, with all that said, I think this game is very difficult to recommend to someone that has never played a Fallout before, and is not familiar with how Bethesda makes games. I just can't recommend it. I would say spend your money elsewhere, you know. But for the true Fallout fan, I would give this game a spin, as you know, prices are dropping so hard. Like I said, they might as well make this game free to play, especially with, you know, them putting in loot boxes. I think this game goes free to play sooner than you might think. And if you have some friends that like to play Fallout and enjoy Fallout, I mean, you can try this and have some fun, find some nukes, work together, you know. But you know, the bottom line is, if you're not into Fallout, I would recommend spending your money somewhere else. You just don't want to put yourself through all the stress, the frustration the game can give you. You know, and everybody that does like the game, I guess I would wait until it's like on a very, very deep sale. I mean, you can get a key for 20 euros right now. I think maybe next month they'll probably go free to play if the prices keep dropping like they are. And then you could always try it out. Maybe have some friends play it together. I'm glad this is out of my system. I have to say this. And I usually don't really destroy games this way, but unfortunately this game is just not what I expected at all. Unfortunately. I'll keep playing and I will keep trying to find things that are interesting and show you guys, but I don't know. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what the future brings. Anyway, I'm happy that this is out of my system, like I said. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button down below. Also subscribe for more videos. I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.